Competition is everywhere. It's in sports, it's in the workplace, sometimes it's among your family. There's a healthy place for competition, but it doesn't have to be there all the time, not even in games. That's right, there's a certain thrill and enjoyment of having to work together to force these different people or just yourself to work cooperatively with yourself to complete a Mission Impossible, which the final movie is out. I haven't seen it. If you did, what do you think? Back to the topic at hand. Cooperative board games are a staple of the tabletop industry, and there are so many great ones to choose from, but some are better than others. So I've put together a list of 10 cooperative board games that you must play, and before you run off thinking it's going to be like every single list, even my own, I've gone out of my way to add some unusual variety. It's gonna get a little weird, but that's this channel. Howdy, welcome back. I am Mike, your board gaming every dude, and these are 10 cooperative board games that you simply must try, darling. I'm supposed to be wearing a suit with glasses when I say darling, but here we are. Of course, to play these games, you need to have a place to play them or buy them. That brings us to our sponsor, my local game store, Cape Fear Games. Cape Fear Games is located in Wilmington, North Carolina. If you're ever there on the East Coast of the U.S., go check it out. They sell board games, they've got card games, disc golf. They've got an estate sale with rare games and rare collectibles. They've got a secondhand market, and I have found some gems in there. I just brought home Mage Knight for $35 from there. They've got a free-to-play library with well over 100 games, bigger library than I have by far. They've got role-playing games, miniature games, and a cafe. And if you use my checkout code, you get 20% off your order if you buy it online. So the link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. This first spot honestly should go to something like Gloomhaven, a very large, big box game if you don't know about it. Frosthaven, Jaws of the Lion. However, when I played those, I found using the top card, bottom card combination a little mind-numbing. Just wasn't really for me. One of the most enjoyable cooperative experiences I've had, similar to that style of Gloomhaven, or more specifically Jaws on the Lion, where you're actually exploring a map, battling together, is the Mandalorian Adventures. That's right, Star Wars. This is from Unexpected Games, one of my favorite publishers, one of my favorite designers as well. The box has been sideways this whole time. How embarrassing. Anyway, it's designed by Corey Knizia, who just left Unexpected Games for a new adventure. But whatever. Anyway, with Josh Bepler or something. 1 to 4 players, cooperative. And then there's a lot of artists because there's a lot of cards, but I'm just going to say David Ardilla is at the top of the list there. So this follows season 1 of The Mandalorian, which up front I wasn't a fan of, honestly. It's a good show. I didn't understand all the hype, but whatever. But you play as those basic characters. And yes, spoiler, kind of a spoiler, so stop if you don't want to know. But I don't think it matters. There is a baby Grogu or a baby Yoda. I like Baby Yoda. But you can play as the Mandalorian and yes, Cara Dune, as well as some of the anti-heroes in the story. So what do? You play through a series of maps in this little map book here, complete with a comic book taking you through the story of each scenario. I think it comes with 5 scenarios right out of the box immediately that you can play solo or cooperatively, but each one has a mission. It tells you what it is. You pick your character, and on your turn you have a hand of cards, 4 cards, 3 if you want to be crazy and make it hard. But on your turn, you play your cards to these skill slots. It's things like move, attack, gather intel, or plan. Well, what you have to do at the event phase is the cards that you place there, they stay there from turn to turn. At the event phase, if the total of cards there is 6 or more, you have to resolve a crisis and bad things happen, right? So you don't always want to go for your strongest card. Plan carefully. Then you draw up, it goes to the next person. You win when you complete the mission objective, or you die or fail. There's rescue operations, attack operations, spying, but really the cool thing is that there are actually new scenarios put on the Unexpected Games website regularly, so you can download those. There are semi-cooperative modes where you get to betray each other, and there's a new expansion coming, I believe, this year, The Mandalorian Adventures. Next up, there's this whole genre of cooperative games involving trick-taking, Maybe you've heard of some of them, the Crew probably being the most popular of those. But it's not the only one. There are so many great ones to play, and the Crew could absolutely be here. But I have chosen Expressions. Now, this is a 2 to 5 player game, no solo mode, designed by Isaac Meyer from Barnmade Games. It's just a card deck. And while you can chat during the entire game, you can't talk about what's in your hand. That's a part of this genre. Instead of saying what's in my hand, I have to try to give tips and suggestions by the cards that I place down. So we're all working together to get as many cards into the harmony pile and not the discord pile. Or actually, it's called agony. The agony pile. How do you do it? On your turn, you simply pick a card from your hand to place down face up. That card is going to have information that's going to hint at what you have in your hand, like I have more purples, or I have no more purples, or I have more threes, or I don't have any threes. Then you're going to guess a card that someone might have in their hand. Pick a player, guess, do you have a red 3? Yes? Great, you get to put cards into the harmony pile. If they say no, you guessed wrong, you have to put cards into the agony pile. That's why you want to give each other hints so you can guess accurately. Game ends when you run out of cards. If you have more cards in harmony than agony, you win. Game says 15 minutes. I'd say more like 45 minutes. Maybe 30 minutes if you get super fast. I've played with teenagers and I've played with adults, and I've loved both experiences. Expressions. Alright, now let's get unashamedly classic. That's right. I couldn't do this video without including Robinson Crusoe and the Adventures of Cursed Island. Excuse me, no, there's no and. It's just Adventures on the Cursed Island. This is 1 to 4 players. This is a much higher complexity than the previous 2 games. And depending which edition you get, the rulebook may be the end of you. If you get the collector's edition, you might be okay. But I believe it's on the Dized app. There's actually a great app rulebook that really simplifies everything. But what am I doing? You don't even know what it's about, or maybe you do and you love it. Tell me about it, or you hate it because you will die every time you play. Maybe not, probably will. Anyway, this is designed by another one of my favorites, Ignacy Cevicek. He's also a regular guest, or maybe he's one of the hosts on the podcast, Board Game Insider. I love it when he's on. Anyway, he's also the owner, leader, CEO, whatever, of Portal Games. Who cares? It's a cooperative survival game where you are all working together to try to complete a mission on an island that is trying to kill you. What I love is the round structure. So every player takes a turn. At the beginning of the turn is the event phase where you flip over an event, but it doesn't happen right away. Instead, it's like you get a preview of what's coming in a couple rounds, and you have a chance to stop it if you can. If not, you'll have to let the event happen, and sometimes that's the best option. But usually not. Then you get to have the morale phase. You check, are your peeps happy or are they miserable? If they are miserable, bad things happen. If they are happy, good things happen. Just like life, managing your own workplace. Keep that morale up. Then comes the production phase. So you get to play this game on a map where you explore and you pick a place to put your campsite where you're going to spend the night. Based on where your camp is, you get to produce resources like food and wood. How exciting! I like food. I'm hungry. I want a sandwich. Actually, I want loaded nacho dumpster fries from Roosters. Here we go. Production phase, gain your resources. Then comes the meat of the game. Yes, I'm looking at the rulebook to remind me. That's what I do. The action phase. You're going to have a number of tokens. You're always going to have 2, but you can have more, and then you can lose those as well, where you're going to assign them to different tasks. Tasks like exploring the map to accomplish your mission, or producing, gathering, building things, building up your shelter, building a signal fire so that you can get rescued from these scary lions that are coming to eat you. Or you can go hunting, make inventions, whatever. You assign your actions here. And once you're done, you get to face the weather. Excuse me, the music. No, the weather. I had it right the first time. Face the weather. You're going to roll some dice. Yeah, this game has dice. So whenever you take an action, there's probably going to be a dice roll with it that you can mitigate. But sometimes you're going to get bad luck. You got to deal with it. Roll those weather dice. If it's raining or Even worse, snowing, your shelter might get destroyed, completely destroyed, or maybe not. Maybe it will protect you, or you're going to get raided by wild animals and you're going to die that way. Whatever, you get to die so many different ways. Or if you built your fence up during this weather phase, you're going to survive that wildlife attack. We're getting in the weeds. Which weeds on this island I'll bet would kill you. So let's get out of them. Then comes the night phase where you get to rest, but also you get to eat food. So you better gather food. Otherwise, you don't get to eat and bad things happen. Then it goes to the next person. You keep playing till you complete the mission. This game comes with a number of missions. If you get the base game, what is it, 5 to 8 missions? Somewhere in there. There are all kinds of optional upgrades you can get, like the Book of Treasures, I believe, which I love, which has got like well over 100 different super cool scenarios. Look, you can build on with expansions as much as you like if you love this game like I do. What I have is the collector's all-in game found version. Get the version that you can. Robinson Crusoe. Fun fact, I have to turn off my air conditioner because it makes so much noise. So it is getting hot in here, but you know what I'm not going to do? Yeah, it's coming. I'm not taking off my clothes because that would be very weird. And that song had it all wrong. What you need to do is stop recording for a minute and turn that air conditioner on. I'll be back. Now that we've gone classic, let's go to a completely different genre. I told you we were going to go all kinds of cool places. So we are actually going to go into the TCG world, the trading card game world. But it's cooperative. How does that work? Well, Disney Lorcana from Ravensburger Games, and I don't know how to find out the designer and artist of this exact one. There are lots of different artists. So sorry, but this is Ursula's Return. This is Illumineer's Quest, Deep Trouble, Ursula's Return. There's a new Illumineer's Quest that is the Jafar world. If you would rather that one, check either one out. But it is cooperative, that's right. So what this means is you get the enjoyment of building your own deck that comes with trading card games and working together with your best buddies to try to beat Ursula. So this is 1 to 2 player. So I guess best buddies wasn't accurate unless you talk to people that aren't there, which I do all the time, and then it can be as many buddies playing as you want, as long as they're in here. And maybe one real person over there, maybe. But who needs that? Anyway, your common villain is Ursula, and she has different challenge levels. So you try to beat her on, beginner, and then it goes up and up and up. And the game comes with 2 decks that are already pre-constructed for you so that you can fight against her from the beginning. I hit my microphone. And each deck is based on attributes that are represented by colors. So like one of these is red and yellow. It's a little more aggressive. The other might be blue and green or something like that. And it's a little more peaceful, healy. There's some fairies in there. I got nothing against fairies. Look, I play Final Fantasy XIV, and you know what I am? I am a scholar. That's right. I'm a big, brawny, scary man that runs into battle and opens a book and summons his fairy friend and heal. And you know what that means? Success. Anyway, back to Lorcana. You have your pre-constructed decks of 50 cards or so you can start playing immediately. You play by laying out cards, laying out ink, which is basically your mana or your power, and then other cards that are characters and abilities and actions, so you can support yourself, support your friend, or attack Ursula. Ursula is always going to be attacking you and trying to stay alive, so you just gotta get her numbers down in order to win. But as it gets more challenging, you may want to buy some booster packs. That's right, the little packs where you get who knows what in order to craft a deck based on the characters that you love from Disney, or just the abilities and powers that you really want for the most balanced, most powerful deck. Like in here I've got Mulan and Goofy and Scar. This is a more aggressive deck right here. Hercules, Namari. The other deck, if I remember right, relies a lot on brooms. Those are some very powerful brooms. Anyway, Disney, Lorcana, Illumineer's Quest, Deep Trouble, Ursula's Return. Alright, can you even see my face behind these big boxes? Let's go to a more calm, classic co-op experience again, now that we got a little weird there going into TCGs, but we're gonna be okay. We're gonna look at Sleeping Gods. Now this whole series, I'm considering the base game, I'm considering Primeval Peril, and Distant Skies, not Divine Skies, Distant Skies, which I currently have on the table. This is fully cooperative, 1 to 4 players from Red Raven Games, and we've got the artist Ryan Lockout, and we've got the designer Ryan Laucott. I'm so sorry if I didn't get it right, but you're both of them. That's amazing. You are a Renaissance man, sir. Great movie from the 90s. Check it out. Anyway, here we are. Based on your price point and how much you want to commit kind of determines where you want to start. As all the games play similar, but I will argue for Distant Skies as the one that I would start with. I actually entered the series of Sleeping Gods with Primeval Peril because it was like $35 or something like that. And I was like, okay, I'll see what this is. And the way a standard turn in Sleeping Gods works is you have all of your characters out and available. You either control them all yourself if you're playing solo, or you divide them up if you're playing cooperatively. And you start by drawing these 2 things called ability cards, and you're able to attach them to one of your characters as a special bonus by discarding a different ability card, or you can hold on to them and wait to equip them later. Then you're going to go to the event phase and you flip over an event card, and this is kind of where the Dungeons and Dragons, which isn't really my thing, but I do like maybe some other type of theme of an RPG, right? A role-playing game comes into play, where in role-playing games you have things like perception check, where you have to, some challenge comes up, a snake comes out of a box. What are you going to do? Well, you have to decide as a group which of you are going to help to overcome this challenge that comes up in the event. Sometimes it's something good. I'm sweating, but usually it's something bad. Anyway, you decide, all right, this character is really good at seeing stuff. This character is really good at fighting. This character is very cunning, whatever. They contribute their skill, and you see if you can overcome the challenge. And usually you have to roll some dice in there too to see if it will help you or hurt you. It's very sad. Then you can mitigate that, of course, with your traits and ability cards that you've put out. You also have equipment cards, all kinds of things you can use to mitigate. But anyway, you overcome the event or you fail. If you fail, you take the consequence. Either way, there's usually a reward. It's better without the pain, but sometimes you just take the pain. And then comes the meat of the game, your action phase. You have a limited amount of time, so you spend time in order to take an action. Most actions take 1 time, some might take more. You can do things like explore, so you get to explore on this zoomed in map. You can also fly a plane around, but you've also got this cool map of the overworld. So look, this is an open world exploration experience set in the 1930s, where you're flying a plane, you fly into some big eye thing that's really scary, you find yourself portaled to another world, and then these strange people come out of nowhere. They're very friendly, though, and they let you know, we'll help you get back home if you find all of these totems and activate them so we can awaken and fight this great evil, but do it quickly because the portal will close in no time. And so on and so on and so on. So that's why you're exploring the world, trying to go against these things so you can get back to your plane so you can fly and go back home. Or be trapped here forevermore. Anyway, with those actions, you can explore certain locations, and that may trigger random combat, which, if you get Distant Skies, I think it's the best of it because it improves the combat system, which involves rolling dice and playing cards. You get a hand of cards to pick from, what you want to use and when for each of your different characters. There's a lot. This is by no means as meaty as Robinson Crusoe, though. If you can handle Robinson Crusoe, you'll be totally fine. This is definitely levels below that in complexity, I think. Although once you learn how to read Robinson Crusoe, you're totally fine. Anyway, this adds a camping system in the Distant Skies version, where you are able to camp so many times per game in order to regenerate your characters, heal, things like that. It also expands your open world exploration experience. I just think it's the most improved version. But to be honest, I've only played Primeval Peril and Sleeping Gods, so I haven't played the base game, which I've heard some really like and some kind of bored with. I think this fixed some of those complaints that I've heard about. This has a deep combat system, I think. It reminds me of when you're playing a RPG, a turn-based RPG video game. The old style ones where you would walk and then you wouldn't see anything, and then whoosh, the screen would go whoosh, and you have a random encounter against a beast. And then there's this whole system of playing in order to beat that beast. And then you go back to the open world exploration. Well, that's how combat works in this. You will be playing cards, you will be rolling dice. It is a campaign. It's supposed to be about 15 hours. It is replayable, different multiple endings. I've talked enough on this. I have not played all the way through the campaign, but I'm impressed enough to this point that I'm comfortable recommending it. Sleeping Gods, preferably Distant Skies. All right, now that we went classic, let's go weird again, but we're sticking with survival, so we're kind of going back to Robinson Crusoe, only a bit more social. Holopagus, I have the big box edition. This is published by 999 Games. Is that correct? It is published by Gigamic Games and many others. It is designed by Lawrence Gamelin and Philippe Gamelin. The artist is Jonathan Ocamonte. That's a cool name, sir. Ocamonte. This is a group game. This is even branching into party games, 3 to 12 players. It is cooperative if you're twisted, because you can also turn on each other, so it has a semi-cooperative element. Normally, I would include something like Nemesis in here, or Dark Moon, or The Thing, something like that, where you are forced to work together, but you also might turn against each other. The difference is, those games usually, except for Nemesis, require one person to be like the hidden traitor, right? Where Nemesis, it's not required. Same with this. You can all survive together. You can all do everything you possibly can to save each other, and you're playing the game the right way. Or you can choose to be weird and vote people off the island and leave them to starve or die of thirst. And we laugh, and then you have to find new friends. But anyway, the point is, you're a bunch of survivors on this paradise island. It's absolutely beautiful, but a hurricane's coming, and if you don't get off the island, you're gonna die. So what do? You need to gather resources like food and water. You need to explore the shipwreckage from the ship that wrecked and landed you on this random island, and you also need to build rafts to get off. So during the game, you're going to have a round where you flip over a weather card. If it's not the hurricane yet, good! You're still alive. Once you flip over the hurricane, it's time to check for endgame survival. But until then, you flip that over, and every player gets to take an action. Explore shipwreckage, go fishing, get water, whatever. After everyone's taken their actions, you see who is going to survive. And then you check for food. Same deal. You got enough food for everybody? Great! If you don't have enough food, you can help the others by being like, look, I've got this food card. Here, eat. Or you can be like, hold it for later. You don't have to tell anybody. And it goes to a vote. Who's going to get voted off? It might be you. You can save yourself with a card. Maybe you can't if you don't have the right cards. Once the hurricane comes, you need to have enough rafts for each person and enough food and enough water, and those people escape. So everybody can win, everybody can lose, or any mix in between. Raucous good time. Holopagus. Alright, now that we did all that backstabbing, welcome back. Let's go to something breezy, cool, chill, and casual, and oh my goodness, I was so impressed with this. Okay, so this is Dwarf Romantic, and it didn't interest me right on the front. I don't know anything about Dwarf Romantic, the game, and when I looked at reviews, I didn't actually watch any, but I saw the thumbnails were kind of like, you know, man, is it really that great? You know, it's kind of, you can't win, you can't lose. And then I saw it also won a Spiel des Jahres award, and it was highly recommended by someone that I trust very much, so I tried it out. I played this 2 players. It's a 1 to 6 player game, published by, here we go, Pegasus Spiel, artist Paul Reeb, and designer Michael Palm and Lucas Zek. I'm not as familiar with this publisher or designers, but boy howdy, did I absolutely love this. Here's how simple this is to play. This is for families. This is for you to play with your kids or with your spouse or people who are not gamers but do enjoy playing some games. Please do not invite them to play something like Wingspan. They'll never come back. Play this. It moves fast. So you're just building the most optimal landscape for points, kind of like Carcassonne, only so much prettier and not competitive, rather cooperative. Have you played the video game? Do you know anything? Is it a video game? Is it an app game? All I know is I bought it at the store. There's this like 6-year-old kid and he's like, oh, I know what that is. And I was like, great. I don't know. Tell me, you have landscape tiles and you have objective tiles. You're going to always have 3 objectives out. So if there are no objectives, you draw an objective tile and place it somewhere that makes sense. By makes sense, that means if it's got a river, then the tile has to continue the river in a logical way, or a railroad. Other things don't have to connect. A field can be self-contained and next to a forest. Do what you like. But the objective is going to be something like have 5 tiles of a connected village, and it has to be exactly 5. If it's 6, it doesn't count. Once you complete that objective, that's great. You take the objective token, and now you have 1 less objective out there. So on the next turn, the next player will turn over another. So you're always going to have 3, I think they're called tasks actually. I call them objectives. We're going to call them tasks. Yes, it's called tasks. Anyway, if you have 3 tasks out, then you just flip over a landscape tile and place it anywhere at all that makes sense, that's going to help you complete as many tasks as possible. The result is going to be this lovely little landscape. Though there's better art out there, it still is lovely enough. There you're going to have little villages and fields and rivers and train tracks. And I was playing with this annoying companion. Actually, no, Daniel's wonderful, but he wanted to make circular tracks just for fun. It's not worth a thing, but whatever. The game ends when you have run out of landscape tiles, and then you just score up based on the tasks you completed and some extra bonuses for having like the largest closed-in village, the largest closed-in field, and so on and so on. Then when you have your points, you're able to advance in the campaign. That's right, there's a campaign in this. So based on the points, you advance so much, and it's going to let you unlock new boxes. Those new boxes have new tiles, new roles, things that add new challenges and new curiosities to the game, and that will be essential so you can get more points to get further in the campaign on your next game. I love it. Let's go to our last game, shall we? Dwarf Romantic. I lied! This isn't the last game. We have 1 more to go after this, but sticking with that calm, cool tile placement, we're going to flip that on its head and get really scary, creepy, and go into the Night Cage. That's right, Dwarf Romantic. Start with that, finish with the Night Cage. 1 to 5 players, published by Smirk and Laughter Games. Get over here, friend. Artist, Christopher Ryan Chan. Designer, several of them. Christopher Ryan Chan, Chris McMahon, Roswell Saunders. Come on down. 1 to 4 players. Did I say that? I don't know. Boy, this is a puzzle of a maze that you get to do together. I've played it solo and 2-player. But no matter what, you're always going to control at least 4 different characters. All the same abilities. The story goes that these 4 individuals, or 5 if you're crazy pants, awoke in darkness with just a candle in their hand and a cruel mission. In tight tunnels that they must crawl through. In the darkness, they must each find a key, then bring that key back to a gate, the same gate, where each one must insert their key in order to unlock it. If even one of them fails to gather the key and make it back to the gate, then nobody gets to leave. Instead, they are enclosed in eternal darkness. It sounds like the person who put them in this night cage maze needs medicine or help, therapy. There are better ways to deal with your trauma, my friend. Let us help you. But they won't be helped, so here you are. Cool thing is the candle in your hand is represented by a candle, a tower of tiles. And when that candle runs out, or when you place the last tile, you approach the end of the game. So what do? Well, on your turn, you simply move your character 1 space by placing a tile. So you move into a space, and then you're able, because of your candle, to illuminate all adjacent spaces if there's a path. So if you've got a path going this way, you flip over another tile to reveal what it is, and another to reveal what that is. And you can choose where to place it as long as it's a connecting path. The bad news is any tiles that are no longer connected to you disappear because they're not illuminated anymore, and this maze is ever shifting. The tile you flip over might be a path, it might be a key, it might be a monster that attacks you. When they attack you, you lose more tiles from your candle, so the candle burns faster. Remember, you're racing against time. Don't let that candle go out. Once you find a key, and you can only carry 1 key per character, then you have to bring it back to a gate. The gates appear randomly, so if you find one, you may want to keep it illuminated. All 4 have to make it back. Use your keys, bam, you made it out. There are crumbling floors that turn into pits when you leave them, and there's an advanced mode where there are more scary monsters and even bosses. I'm personally satisfied with just playing the basic mode, as it gets quite challenging when you add in those scarier monsters in the advanced mode, but play as you like. You also have something called Nerve, which you can use to do special things like take an extra move action or charge right through an enemy. When I play this, I dim the lights. I might even light a candle. You don't need a lot of light because you're not doing any reading. You just need to see the paths, but the dark board and the brightened path makes that easier in dim lighting. Enjoy the atmosphere, play some piano, survive the night cage. Now, for reals, our last game. Finally, I have what I think is the king of a cooperative game experience. This is a social experience, in my opinion. Now, I have played over 10 games of this solo, but I can tell from playing it solo that's not how this was designed. I've got a whole video on it. Play it solo, enjoy it. Play it how you will enjoy it, but I'm telling you, this game feeds on social interaction, where a lot of the games in this list, not all of them, but let's say Robinson Crusoe, you don't necessarily need the cooperative atmosphere, right? It is nice, but the ones like Holopagus and Expressions require that social interaction, and that's what this does. So this to me is the true cooperative experience. Unsettled, you can buy so this is like the base box. This is the base module that is used with Planet boxes. So if this is a video game system, this is a video game console, these are the cartridges that you insert. If we're back in the 90s, what do you do now? Download, whatever. So you are space explorers lost in space, trying to make it back home. But to make it back home, you have to get resources, right? So you have to stop on various planets. So you get your planet box, you open it up, and it's going to have its own planet map with its own planet encounters and its own planet mission that you need to complete and get back to your ship in order to survive it. Each one of these has different challenge levels, from easy to very difficult. You can see I have not opened all of them yet. That's because I bought this, played it, and then I sold it on because I played through it solo, and I was like, this is cooperative. This needs to go to people who are playing cooperatively. That's why it's listed as 2 to 4 players. And while we're here, Orange Nebula, fantastic publisher, oh my goodness. Art by Bartek Fetischok and Krista Zimmerman, and designed by Tim Matson and Mark Neidlinger. I think I got it right. Anyway, each one of you controls a space explorer. If you're playing solo, then you control 2. But you're going to embark on a journey of discovery and very dark but entertaining humor and, oh my goodness, brain-melting puzzles. What do you do on your turn? Well, you manage your focus. That's right, you're going to have 3 cubes. We don't call them dice around here. 3 cubes with different pips that are different focus areas. What are they? They are awareness, wonder, and energy. And you have to place each one of those on your turn and spend a certain amount of pips. More powerful actions are going to take more pips. It might take 3, so you would turn it down to 1, or 0 in that case. Anyway, you place 2 of your cubes to take an action, and the third one you have to place on rest in order to recover and get more of that focus. Actions are going to be things like gathering resources or doing something that you need to complete the mission. Once you do that, then you get to move on the map if you want to. Explore a little deeper into this planet, and there are certain paths that can be followed and sometimes cannot be followed. Sometimes it's a great idea to move together, and sometimes you might want to be pretty darn far apart. I'm talking to you, mushroom clouds. Or maybe it was mushroom dust. I don't remember, but it makes you see things. Every planet is its own environment, its own wonder that you're exploring with its own dangers. One of them is just like this mental, scary mind game where you are just trapped in your mind, and so you're exploring this planet through your mind, and if your mind totally breaks, you die, but you gotta like make it back to you. It was wild. But there is some battle, but usually it's solving puzzles. Anyway, after you risk your life and move, you then have adorable Luna, the star of the show. Luna is like your droid companion, and you can choose to have Luna scan for resources or materials that you can then go and gather, or have her scout and move on her own in a much less dangerous, consequential way. Except for one of the planet boxes, I think she turns homicidal and tries to kill you. I really want to play that one, and I think I've got it in here. But we'll see. So yeah, so when I rebought this, I got Ding and Den. I got all this for $150, which is really good for the whole shabam bam bang. Yeah, I think it's Blackout. I think Blackout is where Luna turns homicidal and tries to kill you with love, but you do die from it. Anyway, after that, you're going to gain different free actions throughout the game that you're going to attach to your board, and this is where the cooperative part starts getting really crazy because they synergize with each other. They have lots of synergy, and when you're playing solo and you're doing these synergies between characters, it's fun, but it's a lot where it really helps to have more than one brain working out these different synergies, like to do this right now, and then I'll do this after, or vice versa. You need more than one brain. Then you bring all your focus cubes back, recover whatever was rested, and it goes to the next person's turn. Play until you die, or complete the mission and get off the planet. This is a darling of my game collection. I found I was sad after I sold it off to Sword and Board Games, but I'm so glad he has it, and I'm so glad that I have it again and that I can share it with you. Look, I've been yapping for way too long, and you have been so patient listening. Thank you. What would you add to this list? And look, when I ask you that, I actually do listen. Several of these games that I have are from recommendations from friends and from the comments. I don't get to play every game that's recommended, but I do log it into this brain somewhere, and then when I see an opportunity, I get to try some of them. So thank you for helping me make this channel a better place to be. I appreciate it. I love you all. See you soon. Sipping on a latte, writing in my notebook. Then I got my first look at you, slipping by me like breakfast at Tiffany's.